Hi Jade, hi Lemons, hi Crystal, hi Eric, hi Tater Tot, welcome in everybody. Hi Mysterious, hi Desiree. How's everybody doing? Happy Saturday. Welcome in everybody, happy Saturday. Welcome in everybody, happy Saturday. If you're new here, my name is Devin and this is Porch Lore, and I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I am here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. I do write and record all of these stories myself, so if you'd like to listen to them when I'm not live, feel free to Check out my YT channel or any of the podcast streaming sites, and you will find me. Just look for Porch Lore. Also, all the links are in my bio. And on my YT channel, I have a bedtime stories playlist that will help you fall asleep. And if you guys could do me a big favor, hi Lily, hi Justin, hi Rachie. If you guys could do me a big favor, hi Just Saying My Opinion, hi Sparkle Tree, hi TJ. If you guys could hit that share arrow in the bottom right hand corner of your screen, there is a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost, and that puts my live into your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow this beautiful porch of ours. Hi Rich. Hi Glossette. Also, sharing to your friends and sharing to your stories helps too, and tapping. Tapping helps get us pushed out. Hi James. Hi Margaret. Hi Artem. Hi Heidi. Hi Anna. Thanks for the cozy cryptids. Hi Michelle. Alright guys, hi Mary. And feel free to start writing your story requests in all capital letters in the chat. Hi Shay Shay. In the chat, I'll write them down and then we will vote. Hi Lonnie. I wish, Lonnie, we haven't gotten close to that in a while. I don't know what happened. Happy birthday, Tequila Pepsi. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Amy. Hi, Bad Witch. Hi, Miss Glass. Welcome in, everybody. Miss Glass, that's so cute. I love that. That makes me happy. Michelle, that's amazing. Thank you for tapping so much yesterday. You're amazing. Thanks, Michelle. Oh, Rachie, I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope you feel better. That's got to be really painful. Hi, Priscilla. Glossette, wouldn't that be cool? Welcome in, everybody. Thanks for reposting and sharing the live. Feel free to write your story requests. Hi, Mr. Tez Fisher. I think if you guys want to write your story requests in all capital letters, I'll write them down and then I'll set up the poll in a few minutes. Welcome in. Happy Saturday. Welcome to the porch. Hi, Khaleesi. Oh, I'm so glad, Miss Glass. I'm so glad I can help. That makes my heart really happy. All right, you guys, I'm going to set up the first poll and I will be right back. Okay, I got your request for Mothman, just saying my opinion. And yes, I'm doing great. Tez Fisher, how are you? All right, guys, I'm going to set up the first poll and I'll be right back so we can vote for the first story. So grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and relax. Check out the shooting stars and welcome to the porch. Happy Saturday. I hope you feel better, James. All right, you guys. Yeah, Mary, I got it. Thanks. The first poll is ready. Also, just a reminder in case you're wondering, there is a story list on Discord if you can't remember the name of something. It's pretty handy. Just take a screenshot of it and leave it in your pictures, you know. But we will be adding to that soon. Lovely said she's going to start helping me with that. Tez Fisher, I would say probably TikTok. In terms of like if you're feeling like chatting with people, yeah, there's a lot more people on TikTok. But if you just feel like having a chill listening experience, then probably YT. So it just depends on what you feel like. You could check out both, whichever one you like. All right, guys, the first poll, but also for voting, Mr. Tez Fisher, you can't vote over on YT, so the voting polls are over. And it's kind of fun to watch those, see which stories are winning and stuff. So it just depends on what you feel like doing. Okay, guys. Deborah, yours are always so funny. I love it. Yeah, exactly, Emmy. It depends on your listening style. Okay, guys. I thought I'd do silly story titles Saturdays. I thought it'd be kind of fun to just, instead of the same old stories, because sometimes I think you guys either don't know what they are or you get sick of hearing the titles or something, but I've noticed when I switch up what they're called, sometimes the stories do better. So I'm going to do silly story named Saturdays, and I'm going to name them random shit that is going to tell you what story it is, but a little bit more fun, okay? So the first poll is Curtis the Seal, the Mad Scientist, Booger Hall, the Spooky Silk Stockings, and Mortimer Hollington. And you can vote in the top left-hand corner. Thanks, Lily. And there's a blue box in the top left-hand corner, and you can vote up to 50 times. And you can vote for more than one story. So who's it going to be? Curtis the Seal, the Mad Scientist, the Booger Hole, the Spooky Silk Stockings, or Mortimer Hollington? Who's it gonna be? Jade, how dare you betray Curtis like that? Jade, how dare you? Curtis is crying tears from his little seal eyeballs. And you know what seal eyes look like? They're the cutest eyes ever. Okay, Jade. Oh yeah, but James doesn't feel good, so I guess that's a good point. Al Jean said, come on, Burger Hole. Exactly, Rochelle. Seal tears. Hi, Teza. Welcome over here. Hi, Lorna. Carrie. Welcome in. Like right now, Jade? Or are you talking about last night? All right, and the winner is Mortimer Howlington. Arr! Thanks, just saying my opinion. I wanted Curtis too. Hi, Scarhead. Welcome back. Happy Saturday. Also, if you guys are on Twitch or YT, I'm not sure how to share it out over there, but feel free to share it with your friends, please. I have like no viewers over on Twitch and YT in terms of my live. So, I don't really know how to grow over there. I don't know how to share out the lives or anything. So if you guys could help me, I would really appreciate some sharing or reposting or whatever the equivalent is over there, if that's even a thing. I know YT isn't as much of a social platform, but Twitch, I do believe you can share it out to people. So if you guys feel compelled to do that, it'd mean a lot, because there's literally like 6 people watching and it's kind of depressing. So, oh, there's fireworks going off outside my window. Priscilla, you didn't see the poll? Maybe you need to update your app? I don't know. Hi, Merlin. I love that your name is Merlin. That's my cat's name. And I'm obsessed with him. He's actually, guys, guess what? What's depressing, Jade? Yeah, there's a guy that just said hello again. He was here the other night on YT named Merlin. Oh, Mackenzie, you're so sweet. Mackenzie went over to Twitch to try to share it out for me. You're so sweet. Oh, no, not the kitty. He's in the living room. Hi, Homemade by Kelly. Welcome in. All right, guys. Hi, Friendly Soul. All right, guys. The winner of the poll is Mortimer Howlington. So sit back and relax. Grab a beanbag chair. Grab a hammock. Check out the shooting stars. And I will be right back with the tale of the Ozarks Howler. Happy Saturday. Oh, thanks, Emily. Hi. Thank you, Amy. Oh, really, Lady Rose? I didn't know that. Thanks. Hi, Jeremiah. Welcome in. All right, guys, feel free to repost and share out the live. Quick swig, and I'll be back with the Ozarks Howler. Jade, thank you for helping. I love you. Hi, Lady Rose. Love you. Hi, First Light. Welcome back. We miss you. Hi, Pittsburgh Penny. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Palace Society. This is the tale of the Ozarks Howler. Most people outside the Midwest have never heard of the Ozarks Howler. And honestly, even most people inside the Midwest treat it like one of those regional campfire stories. Something local parents use to keep their kids from wandering too far past the tree line after dark. But if you spend enough time in southern Missouri or northern Arkansas, especially around the older mountain towns, where the roads narrow into gravel and the forests seem to swallow whole stretches of civilization, then you start hearing about it in ways that don't sound like folklore anymore. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Shay Shay. The first time I heard the name was from an old newspaper clipping pinned to the wall of a roadside diner outside Branson. It was framed between yellow photographs of flood damage and a missing persons flyer from the 70s. The clipping described a farmer in the 1920s who claimed he saw a beast the size of a bear with glowing eyes, horns like a ram, and a cry so unnatural that it made his livestock slam themselves bloody against their pens trying to escape. Depending on who you ask, the Ozarks Howler is described as a shaggy black beast with horns and glowing red eyes. Others say it looks more like an oversized mountain lion with malformed hind legs. Some insist it has tusks. Others swear it has a tail tipped with a spear. The only constant detail in every version is the sound. Witnesses describe it as something between a wolf, an elk scream, a woman shrieking, and metal grinding against itself. A noise so wrong that hearing it allegedly causes nausea, panic, or temporary paralysis. Thank you, Lily. Stories of the creature date back at least to the early 1800s, with settlers in the Ozarks recording encounters with what they called the devil cat or the hainted beast. Some folklorists believe the legend may be older, adapted from indigenous oral traditions warning against supernatural creatures and spirits that lived deep in the hills and should never be followed after dark. Others think the creature was inspired by sightings of diseased bears, escaped big cats, or simple frontier paranoia. But if that were true, it would have faded. Instead, the sightings have continued. Hunters disappearing after screams were heard in the woods. Farm animals found gutted but uneaten. Campers have reported eyes in the dark followed by sounds no known animal should make. Every few years, another sighting surfaces. Thank you, Diana. Usually mocked into oblivion by anyone who hadn't grown up near those woods. I rented a cabin near the Mark Twain National Forest. And if you've never heard of it, it's a very underrated, gorgeous national park in Missouri. The cabin looked charming. A wraparound porch, stone fireplace, private acreage. No neighbors for over a mile. And at the time, that last part sounded relaxing. The drive down was gorgeous. Late October had painted the hills in rust and gold, and every curve of the mountain road looked like something out of a postcard. By the time I reached the cabin, the sun was already dripping behind the ridgeline, staining the trees copper. I noticed the large oak tree behind the cabin had large gashes in the bark. A little alarming, but just a reminder that bears do live in the area. The place itself sat alone at the end of a dirt road, with forest pressing close on all sides. Dense enough that 10 feet beyond the clearing became shadows. The owner had left a binder of house rules and local recommendations on the kitchen counter. Tucked between pages about Wi-Fi passwords and checkout instructions, there was a handwritten note warning guests not to leave food out due to bears. And then under that, someone had scribbled in pen that if you hear something screaming in the woods, don't go looking for it. I assumed it was just a little joke the owner used to play up the spooky mountain aesthetic. Hi, Anthony, we miss you. Later that night, I was sitting on the porch under a blanket, enjoying some greenery with a Bluetooth speaker playing music softly beside me. And the night was almost unnaturally quiet. Just the wind moving through the leaves. And then every insect around us stopped at once. The silence hit so suddenly it felt physical. And then I heard a sound from somewhere deep in the trees beyond the clearing. It started almost like an animal call, and then it bent upward into something like an agonized human. It sounded wrong in a way that I can't even properly explain. Not scary because it was loud. Scary because every instinct in me knew that I was hearing something that I could not identify. The scream echoed across the hills, and then again closer, and I didn't move. The third scream came from a different direction entirely. Not deeper in the woods, to my left and much closer. as if whatever made it had circled while I was sitting there. Justin, I haven't seen any of them. Why aren't you pinning them? I went inside immediately and I locked the door. I remember trying to rationalize it. A bobcat? A fox? Mountain lion, maybe? Animals can make horrifying noises. But I've heard recordings of all of those animals since, and none of them sounded like what I had heard. I barely slept at night. Sometime after midnight, I woke to heavy footsteps moving across the wraparound porch. The boards creaked outside my bedroom window, and then they stopped, and I held my breath. Thank you, Lily. Thanks, Jamie. And then came a wet sniffing sound against the glass, like something was smelling the window. And then claws dragged slowly across the pane. I stayed perfectly still until dawn. In the morning, I found muddy tracks around the porch. They were canine-shaped, but not normal. Too long, with claw marks that dug deep into the soft earth. But this only deepened my curiosity. I had to investigate this further. Just one short walk in broad daylight, just to check out the terrain, see if I noticed anything out of the ordinary. The trail wound through dense timber and limestone outcroppings. The kind of forest where visibility drops to nothing after 20 yards. Everything smelled of wet leaves and old stone. I had been walking for maybe 40 minutes when I found the deer. Or what was left of it. It lay half hidden in the brush off the trail. Its ribcage was torn open and its hindquarters were untouched. The throat had been shredded so violently the head nearly hung loose. But almost no meat had been eaten. It appeared to have been senselessly killed. I turned around immediately, and that's when I heard branches snapping behind me. Something large was moving through the woods. Justin. It was keeping pace. It wasn't charging. It was just following. I looked back once and I saw a dark movement between the trees, low to the ground, too large for a coyote and too fluid for a bear. Then it stepped into a beam of sunlight maybe 30 yards off the trail. And that's when I saw it. Its body was shaped roughly like a massive wolf, but with weird proportions. Its front shoulders were too broad, and its hind legs were too long, and its spine sloped unnaturally. Looked downward, kind of like a hyena. It had thick black fur that hung in clumps across its frame, patchy in places as though diseased or scarred. Its head was oversized and broad-jawed, and its head was crowned with two curved horn-like protrusions rising from above its ears. Its eyes reflected red in the filtered light. Its mouth hung slightly open and strings of saliva swung from teeth too long for its jaw. And then it screamed. Not even a howl, it screamed. The sound hit me like a physical blow, and goosebumps immediately covered my body. And I ran. I have never moved that fast in my life. Branches tore at my face and roots caught my boots. Behind us, I could hear it crashing through the brush and shrieking in short bursts that sounded almost like it was excited. I burst from the trail into the cabin clearing with that thing still behind me. I slammed the door just as something hit it hard enough to shake the entire frame. And then another impact. Wood splintered near the hinges. And then it circled the house for what felt like hours, throwing itself against the walls, scratching at windows, screaming from different sides of the cabin as if it was trying to confuse me. At one point, it climbed onto the roof. I could hear claws scraping overhead. I don't get it, Beefy. I don't get it. And then there was silence. Long enough that I thought maybe it had finally left. But then, the power went out. And the cabin plunged into darkness. And from directly outside the living room window, I saw two red eyes, level with mine. I stayed huddled in the bathroom with a kitchen knife and a fireplace poker until sunrise. And no, Mace, it's not a dog. We never said it was a dog. The thing was gone by morning. My car, parked beside the cabin, looked like something had attacked it with an axe. The doors were gouged, windows shattered, deep claw marks raked across the hood. Police came, search teams came, wildlife officers came. They found tracks, damage, blood from where the creature had cut itself breaking the car glass. But no animal, no explanation. Officially, they blamed a bear. They always blame a bear. As I waited for the car rental shuttle to come pick me up, I sat down to catch my breath for a minute. And I noticed the cabin's guest book sitting on the coffee table. I opened it up to a bookmarked page, and it was an entry from 6 years ago. A woman who described the exact same thing. The screams, the eyes, the clawing at the walls. It was written shakily, and she claimed the cabin owner built the property there intentionally. His grandfather had once owned the land, and he'd believed that the howler didn't just hunt randomly. It returned to places where blood had been spilled. And decades before that cabin was built, a massacre of the local indigenous people soaked the land with blood. The local story, according to the note, was that whatever the howler truly was, it was drawn to violence, to cruelty, to places where something monstrous had already happened. And it comes back again and again. It described the dozens of deep scratch marks carved into the oak behind the property, the ones that I had noticed when I first arrived. Layer upon layer, some fresh, some scratches so old the bark had grown around them, as if something had been returning to that tree for generations. Maybe the moral is that some places earn their legends. Some folklore exists because enough people survive the same terror to give it a name. Maybe the Ozarks howler is exactly what old mountain families have always said it was. A thing that manifests when the land is soaked in blood. All I know is this. If you ever find yourself in the Ozarks after dark, when the woods go silent, and you hear something screaming in the distance, don't convince yourself it's just a story. Because stories don't leave claw marks that deep. And that's the tale of the Ozarks howler. And Nunya, you said something about the guest book. You really think people who own Airbnbs read the guest books? No, they literally have companies that come in and do the cleaning, and they literally hardly ever even see their properties. So I highly doubt that the cleaning ladies that are paid whatever they're paid to clean read the guest books. Actually, ask Lovely. She does that. Lovely, do you read the guest books at the Airbnbs you clean? Because I don't think that's a thing. They're literally just for other guests. Most of my friends who own Airbnbs don't even go to them. They're across the country. Oh, thank you, Lady Rose. I love you. You're so sweet. Scarhead, that's sad. The woods are amazing. You should. Hi, Rainbows. Welcome in. Thanks for the cute gifts. How you doing? Emotionally eating your mic and X-ray. You're so funny. Thanks, James. I think the howler's probably an elemental, to be honest, but a hyena-esque elemental, I would say. But we try to categorize them as a dog or whatever, but they aren't creatures we're familiar with. That's the point. So they're not a dog. It has horns, like a ram. And yeah, definitely not a dog. Some people say it has a speared tail. That's why I mentioned that in the beginning, because it's definitely not a dog. It's really creepy. Oh my God, really, Mace? You're so cute. What movie did you watch today? Hi, Kim. Hi, Amanda. All right, guys. Yeah, it's a cryptid. Yeah, all cryptids are pretty much unknown. And they all have different names across the country. People always mention skinwalkers, but skinwalkers is literally just the Navajo name. That's Navajo folklore, and that's only out west, in the southwest where the Navajo people live. They're called different things all over the country, and they're all the same thing. If it can pretend to be people, it's the same thing. People just love the word skinwalker. but in Appalachia, that's not what they're called. And I don't know what they're called in like the Pacific Northwest or whatever, but they are everywhere. But that's a specifically Navajo word, just to clarify. It is Navajo folklore. Yep, various names. Just like the Moon-Eyed people that the Cherokee call. They're called the Little People in Wyoming, and they're called the Minahuni in Hawaii, and they're called the Duende in Indonesia. So when people, the names are very just human constructs for the same thing. They're elementals. Cryptids are elementals. Hi, Drew. So just to clarify, like when people come in and ask if I have skinwalker stories, that is specifically to the Navajo Nation. So do I have mimic and shape-shifting stories? Absolutely. But do I call them my skinwalker stories? Absolutely not, because I respect the Navajo Nation and their folklore and culture. And it's pretty specific to them. So just wanted to clarify, because there's a lot of constant skinwalker askings, and they are mimics and shapeshifters. They are only called that in the Navajo Nation. So I do not have any stories that are based on the Navajo skinwalkers, but I do have shapeshifting and mimic stories from several places around the country, like the hide behind. But in North Carolina, we call them wraiths. And they're the same thing. No, Lonnie, they're not human energy. They're different. They've never been human. They're primordial energy. They're the oldest energy. They're the energy of the earth. Yeah. They're basically like, the best way I know how to explain it is, okay, our minds can't really wrap our heads around energy just being, we need things to have a physical form. That's why like people who are religious come up with Archangel Michael, and he's got flowing long hair and a white robe, and he's a white dude named Michael. But that is not what angels are at all. That is not what they look like, and that is not, like, my God, I don't even want you guys to look up what they actually look like, because our brains can't wrap our heads around that kind of stuff. So we have to anthropomorphize and humanize things in the best way we can. So when we see figures in their body forms, the shapes they take on, the reason it doesn't look right sometimes, or it's weird, is because they're trying to like be visible to us and have our minds be able to comprehend that we're seeing basically earth energy. Does that even make sense? That's why they can shapeshift. That they're much more, they're in a different realm than we are. So they're doing that not to be scary or mean or manipulate us. A lot of times they're doing it so like we can wrap our heads around what we're seeing, and so that maybe they can be seen. Do you know what I mean? A lot of times to probably protect their territory. If they are scaring people, it's because they take a form that looks really scary to get you away from their land. So that's the thing, is like it's just like all of the elements take different forms. That's why you hear about sea creatures and water monsters and cryptids of the water. That's basically the elemental energy has, when it's strong enough to take a physical form, it will, and it doesn't always look like stuff that we understand. Does that make sense? Because people ask me a lot of times for explanations on elementals, and I feel like I'm trying to like explain it in a way. Okay, good, because I'm claircognizant, and it's something that like I just know to be true, and I've just known it for so long that it's hard for me to explain it in a way that makes sense. Thanks, Bubs. I appreciate that. So basically, like, no matter what you believe in, like, I believe that angels are elementals. It doesn't go against anybody's beliefs, really, because it shows its form in whatever you're going to be okay with and whatever you're going to be comfortable with. So, like, people think they have guardian angels. Some people think it's their ancestors. Some people, it's just whatever you're going to be most comfortable with seeing. Does that make sense? Yes, Bethany, that's what I was just saying. I was just saying, when people, they're like, I talk to Archangel Michael all the time, because he's a very popular one in the witchy community for some reason, mostly witches who were raised Catholic and then claim they're not Catholic anymore, but then claim they channel archangels all the time. Anyway, so when they claim they're channeling Archangel Michael, and they're like, he's so silly, he's such a smartass, and like his hair's long, like, and they like, he's so like, no, boo boo, that is not what he looks like at all. That is not, like, my goodness. Do some history. Like, look, give it a goog. Give it a goog what angels really look like. Like, look at the like seraphim, they're terrifying. So anyway, so yeah, they're elementals, and they present themselves to the ways that humans will understand. So if you're a human that's raised Catholic, they probably will present themselves to you as guardian angels. Hi, Terry. And then if you're like witchy, maybe Hecate, or, it still comes down to they're the energies they're the elements of the earth. It's all energy is finite, as Newton proved, and Einstein also. And so it can't be created or destroyed. So if that's true, then all of the energy we're ever going to have and that will ever exist is already here, being put into different things over and over again. And that's just physics. So the elements of the energy of the earth is in every single form of us. Everything is just made out of the earth's energy. And we take on a human journey, but elementals have never been human. If that makes sense, they're primordial. They have only ever been part of the earth. Once you sign up for a human journey, yeah. I don't know why the hell we do that, to be honest. I don't know why I did that. I would not do it again. You're welcome, Lonnie. I hope that made sense, guys. All right, I will set up the next poll. Sit back and relax. And if you guys would do me a big favor, could you hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner? There's a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And it helps us grow this beautiful porch, and it puts my live onto your friends' FYPs. Also, sharing it to your stories and with your friends helps too. I swear it was like a waterfall for like 1,000 years. And like sometime I was like, yeah, well, dude, I signed up for a human journey, and now I'm like stuck in this cycle. And I'm like, why did I do that? Can I go back to being a waterfall? The fuck? Please? Yeah, true, Lonnie, you're right, true. Yeah, to bring porch lore. Next life, I'm going to be a waterfall again. Thanks, Kim. Exactly. Yeah, but Robin, rainbows are very fleeting. They're just a trick of light. They're just water hitting the light at the right angle. Ooh, but you could just be the never-ending rainbow in my waterfall. How about that? No, I just take it back. I didn't crush your dreams because guess what? Waterfalls have constant rainbows in them. So you could just be the rainbows to my waterfall. Okay, love you, Jade. Enjoy your dinny. Thanks, Lonnie. All right, guys, I'm setting up the next poll. It just glitched, so I gotta redo it. Okay, you guys. Again, it's Silly Story Title Saturday. Hi, Giggle. Hi, Homemade. All right, so we have... Oh, it's under review. Give me 1 second. Oh, never mind. It's approved. Okay. We have The Hitchhiking Hunk. Satan Skipping. Spooky Silk Stockings. The White Biatch of Rose Hall. And The Mad Scientist. You can vote in the top left-hand corner. It's Silly Story Title Saturday, and these are still the same stories. I have just made up goofy titles for them that you can maybe or maybe not make out which story they actually are. We have The Hitchhiking Hunk. We have Satan Skipping. We have The Spooky Silk Stockings. We have The White Biatch of Rose Hall, and we have The Mad Scientist. Okay, Sparkle Tree. Sparkle Tree votes for The Mad Scientist, Justin. Oh, Giggle, you did? Oh, man. Are you in TT? I wish you could send them to me. Mackenzie, their names are so funny, right? That's why it took me a while, because I was trying to think of them on the spot, and I was like, shit. We have The Hitchhiking Hunk. Satan Skipping. Spooky Silk Stockings. White Biatch of Rose Hall, and The Mad Scientist. Kim said, let's go stockings. You voted mad. Robin, think about it for a minute. What story would that be? Giggle, you guys are so sweet. Welcome in. Happy Saturday. Robin, it's for Devil's Tramping Ground. Or Stomping Ground, yeah. Well, it's Tramping Ground, but close enough. So instead of tramping, he's skipping. And that was the one I had the hardest time coming up with on the spot. I was like, shit, what do I say? And I was like, oh, alliteration, Satan, and skipping. Oh my gosh, you guys. You guys, guess what? For the first time. Yeah, Rachie, the ghost of Annie Palmer. You saw her? That's who the white bitch of Rose Hall is. You guys, for the first time ever, Kim is so excited, so am I. For the first time ever, the Fresno Nightcrawlers have won a poll. I don't know why you guys don't like them. They didn't do anything to anybody. They just walk through your yard. But by God, if they have not been the only story that has never won a poll, they won. They can stop crying. Thank you, Lorna. Thanks. So clearly the spooky silly titles help loser stories win. That was my goal, was maybe some of the stories that never win would win with these funnier names, and it worked. Yay! Because we need to switch up some of the stories. So I was like, you know what? Let's start naming them wild shit and see if some of them win. And it worked. So I know. And I think the silk stockings are really weird. And they weird me out only because they are such a weird, not human like. Because again, our brains can't wrap our heads around things that do not take a normal shape. Well, Carlos, welcome back. Because you're going to be able to sleep now. I really wish these people on Twitch would stop spamming the chat with AI viewers. People are literally now paying for AI viewers. I honestly cannot stand this timeline. It's just getting worse. Like, the extreme greed and just fake ass manipulation is crazy to me. Like, you can buy your viewers, you can buy your followers, pay for this. Like, my God. And like, what good is that going to do in the long run? You're going to pay for an AI audience the rest of your life? Like, that doesn't even make sense, because your AI audience isn't going to like become loyal listeners, and like that doesn't even make sense. Like, what is the point of that? People don't think about long game. They just try to cheat the system, and what they want to do is monetize their pages and then get to run ads and shit and just lie and bank until they get in trouble for it, which is what they do. And then they abuse it, and it messes it up for all of us, when it's like, you know, just my God. Okay, bye, Kiroshia. Maybe get an attention span, and then you can come back. How embarrassing. I'd be super embarrassed if I had no attention span, Kiroshia. But you could work on it, maybe. In here, you could like grow some patience. Just saying. Bye. They said, no story, no stay. Okay, bye. It's not an airport. We don't give a fuck. Oh, nothing, Sasha. Just some weirdo. Yes, giggles. Happy Saturday. Thank you for the fireworks, Matt. Oh, corn. And Matt, thank you for the other fireworks I missed. I love you. Corn. Do you see? Thanks for the hand hearts. Mackenzie, maybe. Really, they really did, Lily. No story, no stay. Okay, bye. Oh no, what will we do? All right, guys, so the spooky silk stockings are the winner. While I get that next story set up, will you do me a big favor? Oh, you're about to see, Shay Shay. You know why you don't know? Because this story never wins. Because I will usually put it under its other title and people don't vote for it for some reason. So now we're doing spooky story title Saturdays so that I can maybe get some of the stories that you guys don't hear voted for. And it worked because this has never won a poll ever. So I'm very excited, and so is Kim, because we love this story. And this story features Suzanne. She's not in here, I don't think, right now, but I'm going to send it to her. But while I am setting that up, could you guys do me a big favor? Could you hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner? There's a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. Thanks, Shay. This is repost, and that puts my live into your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow this beautiful porch. Plus, I was sick of seeing the same titles, and I was like, then they must be too. And so I was like, why don't I at least change the names to something silly funny, and maybe it'll make interest in hearing it in a different way, you know? Hi, Matt. Hi, Brooke. All right, guys, be right back. Grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock. Oh, you did, Giggles? Thank you. Oh my God. See, I need to get the information for you guys' channel so I can shout you guys out too. Is there, oh wait, didn't YT just get DMs now? Can't we message each other now? Finally? Also, thank you everybody for tapping. Thank you for the beautiful gifts. And if you are new here, welcome in. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. I do write and record all of these stories myself. They are original content. My original content that I read live on stream. However, they are all recorded and available to listen to whenever you would like on my YT channel, as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. Just look for Porch Lore and you will find me. So again, TikTok, I am the owner of this content. I have written all of these stories myself. I am the author, and I have every right to read my own stories live. This is original content. Just to clarify for TikTok AI bots, thank you. I will be right back. Happy Saturday. Lily, that's so funny. Hi, Ruth. Welcome in. Happy Saturday, Ruth. Brian, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the porch. Hi, Courtney Love. Also, guys, this is in fact a true, there are videos of these. So I will be sharing it in the Discord after the live tonight if you guys are interested in seeing the absolutely baffling and creepy as shit footage from actual video footage from a national park and from someone's backyard. This cryptid did not appear until the early 2000s when it was captured on a backyard security camera, and the way it moves is bizarre. And that's so yeah. So I will share it. Join the Discord, and I will share the footage of these creepy little stocking pant dudes after the live is over, because these actually have been caught on video. So this is not a somebody said, somebody told, I saw with my own. These were, and this was in the early 2000s. So this was long before the average homeowner had access to AI or anything of the sort to be able to create something like this. And video experts have examined it. And then there was also a video from a national park, whether it was Yellowstone or Yosemite, I can't remember, but I think it was Yosemite. And it was from a national park surveillance camera. So just wanted to clarify, this one is, I'm not even scared of cryptids. And I wouldn't say I'm scared of these guys, but they creep me out. They're just weird. And I'm just not sure what I think they are. I don't really know. Because I don't even feel very much, I don't know. I'm not sure. They're obviously some type of elemental, but I'm not really familiar with them, and they weird me out. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the Fresno night crawlers. There are some cryptids that look like they were designed by ancient fear. Creatures with claws, teeth, eyes. Things that make instinctive sense to be afraid of. And then there are the Fresno night crawlers. 2 white legs. That is the only way anyone ever really describes them. Just legs. No visible arms, no obvious anatomy that should logically allow them to exist. They look less like living creatures and more like someone draped white sheets over stilts and taught it how to walk. Which somehow makes them worse. Because monsters are easier to process when they resemble something alive. Like Bigfoot, the Mothman. But the Fresno night crawlers do not. They move wrong. They stand wrong. And maybe that's why their footage has unsettled people for decades now. Hi, Ambular. The modern legend began in Fresno, California in the early 2000s, when a homeowner's security camera captured 2 pale, leg-like figures gliding across his front lawn in the middle of the night. One appeared taller than the other, moving with a slow, deliberate gait, almost like a parent leading a child. The footage spread online and was initially dismissed as a hoax. But experts could never conclusively explain how it had been faked. Especially not with the technology available to the average homeowner at the time. And then stranger details emerged. Indigenous Yokut folklore from Central California allegedly includes stories of pale, wandering beings associated with the night and with the balance between nature and man. While documentation is sparse and some dispute whether the Fresno creatures truly connect to that folklore, the association stuck. people began claiming the beings were ancient watchers, guardians. And then more footage appeared. Never enough to prove anything, just enough to make the whole thing harder to dismiss. Footage from a blurry security camera in Yosemite, a ranch camera somewhere outside Fresno. Both showed strange silhouettes crossing a road in the distance. Always the same impossible movement. Always the same gliding gait. Most people treat the Fresno night crawlers like a joke. The joke of the cryptids, cute, goofy, harmless. But I think that's because people have never had to see one in person. And I wish I could go back to the version of myself that thought they were funny. Because Suzanne and I used to laugh every time they were brought up. But now we don't. Suzanne lives outside Fresno in one of those strange in-between parts of California where suburbia frays into orchards and scrubland and old irrigation roads. Not quite city, but not quite country. The sort of place where neighborhoods end abruptly and miles of dark, open land begin. She had moved there for work, and her house sat at the edge of a newer development. The last row before the land gave way to empty fields and a dry creek bed. The first night there, she jokingly pointed through her kitchen window toward the darkness behind her backyard fence and told me that that was prime nightcrawler territory. We laughed because that's what you do when discussing giant walking pants in the dark. But then she admitted that several people in the neighborhood had posted odd security clips in the local Facebook group. Nothing definitive, just strange movement in the distance and weird pale shapes near fences. Things caught for one frame and then gone. Again, she treated it like neighborhood folklore, but then she admitted that people stopped letting their dogs out at night alone. That first evening, we sat on her back patio with drinks while the sun disappeared over the fields. Thank you, Dusty. Thank you, Viola. The land beyond her fence looked deceptively flat in the daylight, but at night it became an ocean, black and endless. No streetlights, no structures. Just the occasional silhouette of distant trees and the soft metallic creaking of irrigation equipment somewhere far off in the dark. Suzanne told me that the neighborhood had a reoccurring problem with pets disappearing. Coyotes, supposedly. But nobody ever found the remains. Still, nothing happened that night or the next. The next few days of the trip were normal, touristy, fun. But then on the fourth night, Suzanne woke me just after 2 in the morning. Her face was pale and she held her phone toward me without speaking. I squinted as the light from her screen illuminated the dark room, and I saw her backyard motion alert had been triggered. And it was the camera feed. It showed her empty patio. The fence was still, nothing was moving. And then, at the far back corner of the yard near the fence gate, something pale stepped into the frame. At first, my brain rejected what I was seeing. It looked like 2 white columns moving. And then the shape advanced further, and I realized It was exactly what everyone has described. A creature perhaps 4 feet tall, long white legs, a small tapering upper body like folded cloth or draped flesh. No visible arms. It walked with a horribly smooth gait, just like the one I had seen in the videos. Like gravity affected it differently. It crossed the yard in total silence. Then it slipped out of frame. Neither of us moved. Neither of us spoke. And then the camera alert ended. We replayed it 3 times, and each viewing made it worse. Because no matter how long we stared, we couldn't figure out how it could possibly move that way. I asked if we should call the police. Even saying it sounded absurd. Like, what will we tell them? Hello, 911. Yeah, there's a pair of Honda pajama pants walking through my backyard. Instead, we just stayed awake until dawn with every light on in the house. The next morning, we checked the yard and nothing. No footprints, no disturbed dirt, no damage. But near the fence gate, we found a line of dead flowers. Not wilted, dead. Every blossom along one narrow strip of Suzanne's flower bed had turned black and collapsed as if it had been flash frozen overnight. She swore they had been healthy just the day before. And then we made the worst decision that people in horror movies always make. We went looking for it. Suzanne had a friend whose uncle owned farmland several miles outside of town near where one of the earliest Fresno nightcrawler sightings supposedly occurred. I told him about my Porch Lore podcast, and he said that we could come walk the land and check things out. We arrived just before dusk, and the land stretched flat and golden for miles. Dry grass, abandoned irrigation ditches, twisted valley oaks, telephone poles vanishing toward the horizon. The kind of place where distance plays tricks on your eyes. We brought inadequate flashlights, cameras, snacks, and the brittle confidence of people who still partially believed none of this was real. By midnight, we had seen nothing. We sat near an old pump shed laughing nervously at ourselves. We were grown women, and this is ridiculous. But then, every cricket stopped instantly. No gradual fade. No natural hush. Good night, Lily. 1 second noise. And the next, silence so complete it felt vacuum sealed. Movement caught my eye near the far fence line. At first, I thought someone had placed a white trash bag in the field. But then it moved. One shape and then another. And then a third. 3 pale figures emerged from the grass, different sizes, walking toward us, each gliding with that same impossible gait. The tallest one had to be nearly 6 feet tall. The smallest one perhaps 3. And honestly, they looked like a family. That's the thought that hit me first. They weren't random creatures, they looked like a family. The figures approached without hurry. No sound, no sign of awareness, except that every step carried them directly toward us. We backed toward the pump shed, and the tallest one stopped maybe 30 feet away. The other 2 spread out, forming a half circle around us. My chest tightened. And then the tall one bent, not crouched, it bent, and its entire upper body unfolded open like cloth parting in the wind. And underneath, there was a face. Pale and stretched, featureless except for a mouth too wide and eyes that looked sewn shut beneath translucent skin. Suzanne screamed, and that broke whatever paralysis held me, and I ran. I do not remember half of that sprint. The truck was nearly a quarter mile away, and we heard nothing behind us. No footprints, no pursuit. I just assumed they were horrifyingly gliding behind us, and I didn't dare look back. But instead, they simply let us run. We got to the truck, out of breath, our hearts racing. Suzanne fumbled the keys twice before getting us inside. And then we peeled out of there, throwing gravel. Neither of us spoke the entire drive home. After some research, I read several indigenous stories that described pale wandering spirits who appeared when the land itself had been violated. Guardians of sacred places twisted by human greed and expansion. Not hunters, not predators. They were judges. And we built houses where they used to walk. Suzanne's neighborhood, that development, we found out it was built over old protected land that had been bulldozed during expansion despite protests from preservation groups. Her house, it stood at the edge of it, right where the field began. Some things do not haunt us because they are evil. Some things haunt us because we forgot that we are the ones trespassing. Some things haunt us because to them, we are the evil. So if you ever find yourself driving outside Fresno late at night, past the orchards, past the neighborhoods, where the dark opens wide and endless, and you see something white crossing the field in your headlights, just keep driving. And that's the tale of the Fresno night crawlers, also known as the spooky silk stockings. Hi, Songbird. Oh my gosh, Brooke. Thank you. Oh my God, I love the way that sounds. Dawn, thanks for the singing frog. Brooke, thanks for... I love that splashing noise. Thank you so much. Thanks for helping me with my gallery, boo-boo. And happy birthday. Isn't it still your birthday? Also, happy early birthday, April. Did I see you say that it was going to be your birthday? Yeah, thanks. Right, Brittany? I know. I'm usually always the driver. Hot Mess Jess, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the porch. And welcome in. If you're new here, my name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I'm here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. I do write and record all of these stories myself, and they are all available for you to listen to whenever you would like on my YT channel, as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. Just look for Porch Lore and you will find me. This is all original content, and these stories are written by me, the host, and I have all rights to and ownership to read these stories live on TikTok. I am the owner of not only the LLC, but all of these stories TikTok. This is my original content, and I have the legal right to read it live wherever I choose. K-AI bot. I also come from a long line of attorneys. TikTok. So I have every legal right to be reading my own work wherever the hell I want. Thanks, TikTok. Happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome to the porch. Grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and relax. Check out the shooting stars. That's right, Jade. And enjoy the porch. I am here to help you relax your nervous system. Happy Saturday. Happy early Father's Day to all the dads out there. Even the pet daddies. I don't care if you have a frog. If you're a dad, happy Father's Day. And I'll be right back with the next bowl. If you guys could do me a favor, share out the live, hit that share arrow in the bottom right hand corner, and hit that yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow this porch with cool people instead of trolls. And yes, even if you are a dad to a fish, if you're a dad to a dog, if you're a dad to a snake, happy Father's Day, because I've only ever been an animal mama as well. And I'll tell you what, when people wish pet mamas a happy Mother's Day, it does make me feel good. So, happy Father's Day to not only the ones with human babies, but to those of you who take care of, who coexist with and have raised an entirely different creature than your own species. It's like Jungle Book shit, you know? So happy Father's Day. Hi, Ashley. Thank you, Tennessee Ridge Runner. Thank you, Cats and Coffee, for the hand hearts. Oh, Dawn sent corn. Plaid Oak. Thank you for your cozy cryptids. I like that name. That's a cool name. I don't even know what that means, but I like it. I don't know why, but I do. Plaid Oak. Maybe because I like plaid and I like oaks. It's a nice name. Welcome in. Hi, Mama Bear. Lorna, thank you for the populars. Thank you so much, Lorna. Daisy, thanks for the community, or Deborah, thanks for the community hearts. And Dawn, thanks for the populars. Just catching up on the gifts. Tina, thanks for the cozy cryptids. Hi, Jeep. How you doing? Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday, Johnny. Thanks for the heart me and the cozy cryptid. I appreciate it. Oh, Pittsburgh Penny. Thanks for the community style. Thanks. Thanks for the love you, Desiree. Hi, Ma Corona. How are you? A Coroba? Yeah, Corora. Is that Corora? I like that. You're from New Zealand? Cool. Hi. Hey, Kiwi. Hi, you little Kiwi. Welcome in. Welcome to the porch, our New Zealand porch pal. I love people from New Zealand. You guys have the cutest, like, your personalities are very jovial. You guys are very cute and, like, just adorable people. Your surname means seagull. I love that. That's so cool. Hello, seagull. Also, do you guys remember after COVID, New Zealand did these commercials to try to get tourism back? They were the cutest commercials I've ever seen in my life for a country's tourism department, and I never forgot about them, and they legit made me want to go to New Zealand so badly because of the people. I was like, I don't even know much about their history or what I would look at there, but after those commercials, it made me want to go there because the people seem so adorable. Does anybody else remember that? I'm sure Seagull does, because it was for New Zealand tourism, but they were cute. They were great. Give it a goog. Look up New Zealand tourism commercials, maybe like 2021 or something. They were really cute and they were funny. You remember them, Deborah? Yeah, they were so cute and they made me want to go. Yes, you guys are lovely people. And it just made me want to go there so badly because we were in such a rough time too. Like, everybody was being, like, COVID made people so mean and weird and, like, crazy. And so I was like, and I saw these commercials with these lovely people and I was like, oh my God, I want to go there and never come back. The goog, Brittany. Yeah, give it a goog. Oh, yes, Matt. See, you're a black lab daddy. Vixen, yeah, me too, same. Yes, and so many died, yes. And that's the thing, is to see just such a, like, I don't know, those commercials really cheered me up during COVID. Those New Zealand people really cheered me up, so thanks. Thanks for being New Zealand. Thanks for being a Kiwi, because you guys are great. You guys are special. All right, I'll be right back with the next poll. Okay, you guys. This is ridiculous. Okay. So, here's the silly story named Saturdays. Okay, we have the Party Crashers, which is an Are You Afraid of the Dark reworking. We have Satan Skipping. We have the Feral Effers. We have the Soul Screamer. BP, I make myself laugh all the time. Good night, Lorna. We have the Soul Screamer. And last but not least, we have the Cantaloupe Craniums. And you can vote. What rabbit hole of seagulls? What? What? We have the Party Crashers, Satan Skipping, the Feral Effers, the Soul Screamer, and the Cantaloupe Craniums. Oh, get it. I get it, Brittany. Do you like it, Brooke? Cantaloupe is the best melon. Come on. The feral one is the Booger Hollow one, the newest one, the one from this week, because they're feral people. Thanks, Holly. I'm trying to come up with these on the spot. Yes, James, you are correct. Soul Screamer is Molly. And the Party Crashers is the Unexpected Visitors. Thanks, Brittany. It's Silly Story Title Saturday. I'm going to start making them weird. Yeah, on the spot. I'm literally just making these up as I go. And it's been like, that's why I was cracking up, because I was like, shit. Melon heads. And I was like, because I love alliteration. And I was like, Cantaloupe Cranium. Oh yeah, Jade, I forgot. Well, too bad. That's what you get for picking. That's what you get for choosing Mortimer over Curtis. And he's never going to forget it. His little seal eyes are filled with tears. And the winner is the Feral Effers. Yeah, Molly almost won. Aren't you guys? Poor Curtis, I know. Which laugh, Brooke? Which laugh? My neighbors are having a party. One of the frat boys has the loudest laugh ever, and it sounds forced and fake. That's so funny. He's like, that's a fake frat boy laugh, in my opinion. Yuck. Oh, Travis, that's a riot. Oh god, it's long and drawn out like that's so bad. really, Matt? My frat boy name in college was Gata, and Gata don't play no shit. Shay said, don't go to Devin's college. I had a friend who, whenever she used to get intoxicated, she had a donkey laugh, kind of like, you know, the creepy donkey boy in Pinocchio, who's like, oh no, right? And when he's turning into a donkey, it's like horrifying. When I was a kid, that's what she sounded like. And we used to be like, girl, and it was only when she was wasted and she like would hyperventilate. It was like she'd get too excited and she couldn't breathe, and we'd have to be like, girl, you've got to breathe, like slow down, because you, and like she even knew she did. She hated it. But it was really cute and funny. And I'm like, I bet like that's how her husband fell in love with her. He heard her like donkey and cross the party, and he was like, that's the girl. That's the weirdo for me. Brooke, I feel like you need to take a voice note. Ning Lee, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the porch. I feel like you need to take a voice note of that laugh and put it on the Discord, please. Also, welcome in, guys. If you could do me a big favor before I start the next story, could you hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner? There is a yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other. It's called repost. If you've already done it, you can undo it and redo it. And what that does is it puts my live into your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow this beautiful porch of ours. Also, sharing to your friends and sharing to your stories helps too. And thank you for everybody continuing to write funny sentences with keywords in the chat. I really appreciate you. And happy Saturday. My laugh gets you done? The fake one I was just doing, or my real laugh? Because do you mean the frat boy laugh we were just doing, or my real laugh? Hi, Diane. Hi, Sherry. Thank you, Seabass. How are you doing? Happy Saturday. Yes, you do, Justin. Where have they been? And please pin them for me so I can see them, because they make me laugh. Shark approves of the laugh. Thanks, Matt. Gator doesn't. Gator don't play no shit. Quick swig and I'll be back with the tale of Bugger Hollow, also known as tonight as the Feral Effers. Yeah, I saw the Willie Nelson one for sure, Justin. But like, come on, it's midnight and you've given us one. What are you doing? Oh, Don said a real one. Did he? I didn't see the answer. Where's the answer? The real one. She said, because the frat boy one, yeah. Justin's in the lab cooking up new names. Oh, good night, Desiree. Sweet dreams. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for being here. Thank you for the heart me, Skrilla and Seabass. Hi, lovely. Welcome in. Hi, Sherry. Welcome in. Welcome in, everybody. Thanks for all the reposts and the sharing. Thank you for the hand hearts, Kelly. Thank you, Grandma D. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of Booger Hollow. Yay, Danny. We're so happy to hear that. Welcome back. Most people have never heard of Booger Hole, West Virginia. The name sounds like something made up to scare children. But it was a real settlement, hidden deep in the mountains of Clay County, West Virginia. The community is long gone now. The roads faded away, the houses collapsed. The forest swallowed almost everything that remained. But the stories never disappeared. Old local accounts talk about murders, feuds, vigilante justice, disappearances, and families who seem to vanish into the mountains. Some people claim the hollow is haunted by the original settlers. Others insist there are still descendants living deep in the woods who don't want outsiders around. Thank you, Misty. Thank you, Kelly. I didn't know what to believe. I only knew that the area allowed primitive backcountry camping and that 2 friends and I had secured permits for a 3-day weekend. The plan was simple. Camp Friday night, explore Saturday, and leave on Sunday. It should have been an easy, peaceful outing. Instead, it became one of the most terrifying weekends of my life. The first sign something was wrong happened less than an hour after we arrived. We had just finished setting up camp right beside a narrow creek running through the hollow. The clearing wasn't large, but it was perfect for 3 tents and a fire. Dense forest surrounded us on all sides. I was unpacking supplies when I noticed someone standing on the ridge above camp. Goodnight, Giggles. At first, I thought it was just another hiker. But then, I realized they were just standing there watching us. Not moving, not hiking, just observing. The figure was tall and painfully thin. The clothing looked old-fashioned, almost like work clothing from another era. The person stood among the trees, staring directly at us. Finally, I decided just to wave at them. "Thank you, songbird." The moment I did, they just stepped behind a tree and disappeared. Okay, weirdo. Thank you, Dawn. About 30 minutes later, we heard someone whistle from the woods. Not a bird. It was a human whistle. Then another whistle answered from somewhere further up the mountain. And then another. The whistles moved through the forest around us. One ridge, another ridge, then somewhere behind camp. I remember a knot forming in my stomach. It felt like people were communicating with each other about us. We continued setting up camp anyway. We had permits and we were not trespassing. Whoever these dudes were, they weren't going to intimidate us into leaving. We were staying. By sunset, we had regretted that decision. The first visitor walked into camp, just as darkness settled over the hollow. He didn't emerge cautiously, he just walked directly out of the trees as if he belonged there. The man looked to be in his 60s. His clothes were filthy. His beard reached nearly to his chest. And his eyes never blinked. Not once. The man slowly looked over every piece of gear we owned. Every cooler, every tent, every backpack. And then his gaze settled on me. He said nothing, but the expression on his face was resentment. The kind of resentment someone carries for years. I introduced myself and I told him that we had permits and we planned to leave on Sunday. Congratulations, Jade, level 29. The man listened without reacting. And then he introduced himself as Bishop Miller. And then he said something that made the hair on my arm stand up. He told us that the families didn't want us there. Not the locals, not the landowners, just the families. As if everyone should know who he meant. He stared at our campfire for several seconds before turning and walking back into the woods. No goodbye, no explanation, just gone. Okay. Around midnight, we realized that one of our coolers had vanished. Not misplaced, gone. Nowhere to be found within our campsite. We spent nearly an hour searching. Eventually, we found it sitting upright in the middle of the creek, nearly 100 miles downstream. 100 yards downstream. All of the food inside had been removed. Every package, every can. Somebody had carried the cooler away while our backs were turned as we sat around the fire. None of us had seen or heard them. And that realization was horrifying. Yeah, exactly, Matt. That's a little far. Someone had entered our camp without us even noticing, and that was scary. The next morning, fresh footprints covered the muddy ground around our tents. There weren't 1 or 2 sets. It looked like at least 6 or 7 different people had walked through our camp while we slept. One set led directly to my tent, and the prints stopped inches from where my head had been. I couldn't stop staring at them. Someone had stood there watching me sleep. That afternoon, we explored the remains of the old settlement. Most structures had collapsed decades ago. A few stone chimneys still stood among the trees, and near one foundation we found something strange. Names carved into very weathered wood. Maddox Miller, Harper Miller, Tanner Miller, Bishop Miller. The carvings appeared old, very old. But Bishop was the name of the old man who came to our campsite. We photographed them and we continued hiking. As evening approached, we returned to camp, and the atmosphere felt wrong immediately. Our tents had been opened. Nothing valuable was stolen. Instead, our belongings had been rearranged. Sleeping bags moved, clothes stacked in piles, backpacks emptied. Personal items placed neatly around the fire circle. People had been inside our camp again. People who wanted us to know that they could come and go as they pleased. That night, shortly after dark, figures appeared beyond the firelight. At least 8 of them, men, women, children, standing among the trees, watching us. The same filthy clothes, the same hollow expressions. None of them spoke. They simply just stared. Whenever we approached or tried to speak to them, they retreated deeper into the woods. And whenever we returned to camp, they came closer again. Hour after hour. The feeling was unbearable. The hollow no longer felt like wilderness. It felt like we had camped in the middle of someone's village. Around midnight, I woke to movement outside my tent. Heavy footprints, human footprints. I opened the tent flap and I froze. A woman stood beside the fire pit. Moonlight illuminated her face. Her hair hung to her waist, and mud covered her bare feet. She wasn't watching the woods. She was watching my tent, watching me. For several seconds, neither of us moved. And then she smiled. Not a friendly smile, a menacing smile. I scrambled out of the tent and I yelled at her to leave us alone. And the woman just turned slowly and walked calmly back into the darkness. The others woke when they heard me yelling. We shined our inadequate flashlights into the woods and we saw nothing. By dawn, none of us wanted to stay another night. Thank you, Talks Good. I miss you. Hi, cutie. But We were stubborn. We had paid for permits and we had every right to be there. These weirdos weren't going to scare us off. So we stayed. The final night became a siege. The people stopped hiding and they walked openly around the camp. They stood between the trees. They watched from the creek bank. Several times they approached close enough for us to clearly see their faces. One old man repeatedly circled camp carrying an antique lantern. Another sat on a fallen log for nearly an hour, just smiling a creepy smile and staring directly at us. Near midnight, one of them threw our firewood into the creek. Then someone else dragged one of our folding chairs into the woods. Thank you, Jeep. Thank you, Talks Good. The harassment never stopped. Every time we recovered an item, another disappeared. Thank you, Jeep, so much. And thank you, Talks Good. Sleep became impossible, and the fear became constant. These people seemed determined to drive us away. Just before dawn on Sunday, the entire group appeared together. More than 20 people stood among the fog drifting through the hollow. Men, women, children. Entire families, watching silently from the trees. For several minutes, nobody moved. And then the rising sun touched the ridge. The fog shifted, and every single person disappeared. One moment they were there, and the next, the forest stood empty. We packed immediately. We were done. As we hiked out, we took a different trail that followed an old wagon road through the woods. About an hour later, we discovered a cemetery. Thank you, Whitney. The graveyard sat atop a small hill overlooking the hollow. Many of the gravestones had fallen, but enough remained legible to read. I stopped at the first stone, and the names made my stomach drop. Maddox Miller, Harper Miller, Tanner Miller, and Bishop Miller. Oh my God, Talks Good, that's so cute. I've never seen that. Thanks, Talks Good. That's adorable. The same name as the old man, and the same names carved into the abandoned structure. These were the names of the people we had seen all weekend. Yeah, that was so cool, right, Jade? And then I noticed the dates. Every grave belonged to someone who died between the 1880s and early 1900s. Entire families, rows of them, parents, children, grandparents, dozens of graves. The deeper we walked into the cemetery, the faces I remembered from the woods seemed to attach themselves to names. The old lantern man, the woman beside my tent. Name after name, they were all buried there. Thank you, Talks Good. That's so cute. We left without speaking. That was so cute. Thank you. I still don't know what happened in Booger Hole. Maybe we spent an entire weekend being terrorized by an isolated group of feral mountain people protecting their territory. Maybe the stories about the Hollow are true. And maybe the original families never really left at all. All I know is this. The man who first warned us told us the families didn't want us there. Thank you, Talks Good. And at the time, I thought he meant living families. But now, I'm not so sure. And that's the tale of Booger Hollow. And thank you so much, Talks Good, for all the cool gifts and the love. I appreciate you so much, and I missed you. I hope you're doing great. Sabrina, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the porch. Talks Good, thanks for the panda. I love that one. He's so chubby and cute. Thank you, Krager. Thank you, XTR. Welcome back. Nice to see you. I'm glad to have you here, Talks Good. You still have like my favorite name of all time. Talks Good is just the best name. Best name for a storyteller ever. Raven, oh my god, thank you for your first gift ever. Thank you for the heart me, Raven. What an honor. Yeah, the flying panda's cute, right? He's got a little green cape in his little belly. So cute. All right, you guys, if you're new here, welcome in. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. Hi, Richard. And I'm here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. Hi, Stinky. Welcome in. I do write and record all of these stories myself. They are my original content. And I read them live, but you can listen to them whenever you would like on my YT channel, as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. If you just look for Porch Lore, you will find me, and the links are in my bio. And no delirium, most people don't stay scared awake. Most people fall right asleep. Jeep, I'm so glad. Thank you, Ashley. Good evening. Welcome to the porch. Glad to have you here. Everybody, welcome Ashley, a new porch pal. Grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and relax, and welcome to the porch. And Taryn, that's okay. You don't have to make a grilled cheese tonight. Just relax. Lay in a hammock. Check out the shooting stars. Happy Saturday, everybody. And again, happy Father's Day to all of the dads out there, whether you are the father of a human or the father of a goldfish. Happy Father's Day to all of you out there who help raise another living soul with love. Be right back with the next poll. Oh my god, really, Delirium? That's amazing. I love that. I love that. Lovely, there are no psycho stories. And hey, Lovely, where you been? Oh man, I wish that would be sweet if they would deliver to us. Good night, Ruth. See you later. Thanks for joining us. Get some rest. I'm glad you can make it in tonight, guys. Ruth is James' Uncle Monkey's wife. Glad you're here. I know, lovely, but then I didn't see you again. I thought you left. That was a long time ago. Oh my god, talk's good. I cannot wait. I would love to hear any native scary stories you have for me. I would love that so much. If you ever want to come up and share them too, you totally could. You're just quiet tonight, lovely. That's okay. We don't always have the bandwidth for the chat. You can always just chill and listen, and you don't have to feel obligated to chat. Hi, Phoenix. Yeah, wouldn't that be fun? All right, guys, I'll be right back with the next poll. Happy Saturday. Welcome to the porch. And while I'm setting that up, if you guys could do me a favor and hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner, there is a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that helps put my live into your friend's FYP, and it helps us grow this beautiful porch of ours. And welcome back. Just looking for ways. We're glad to have you back. Was your name Kevin? Was it Kevin? Trying to remember. Oh, Jade overpinned me. Jade's Kyle. See, I knew it was a K. I was damn close. I knew it was a K. Hi, Kyle. Welcome back. Jade's a pin and maniac. Jade, what? Yeah, I know. You're so cute. I didn't even see what you pinned. Jade's just pinning like crazy. I did it the other day. I overpinned Lovely accidentally. We all do it. Which one did you pin, Jade? You can put it back up if you want. Thank you, Unpopular Opinion. Welcome in. I have a lot of unpopular opinions. I like your name. And I actually say that too. I'm always like, okay, unpopular opinion, but. So love that name. You are Jade, and I love it. I love it. Your lightning speed. Gargoyles are flying over the porch. My goodness. Nobody pins like Jade. Just pinning lightning speed. Quick draw my pin. All right, guys, be right back with the next poll. Welcome in. I'm just going to set up the poll and we can vote on the next story. Thank you guys for sharing and for your beautiful gifts and your taps and your silly comments that are keyword relevant for the AI bots. Redneck, thank you for the follow and welcome to the porch. Happy Saturday. My name is Devin and I am here to help you guys relax your nervous system. So sit back and relax, grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, check out the shooting stars, and welcome to the porch. Be right back. Thank you, Silver Melody. Welcome to the porch. Thank you to everybody who is hitting that little repost button, the one with 2 arrows, the yellow one that helps put my live into your friends' FYPs. And it helps us grow this beautiful porch with cool people instead of weird trolls. So thank you. Redneck, you came from the FYP. Yay! See, guys, it works. Oh, sorry, Justin. See, I just overpinned Justin. See, guys, it works when we do the reposting and sharing and the tapping. Look who just got here from the FYP. Welcome to the porch, Redneck. Grab a hammock. Sit back and relax. I grew up around rednecks. I just have a fancy news voice now. Thank you, Coco. Okay, you guys, the next poll is ready. Sorry it took me a while. I had to think of silly story name replacements because it is our first ever Silly Story Title Saturday, where I changed the original story titles to really crazy funny stuff that you guys will probably be able to figure out what story it is, and we vote. So maybe we have a chance of some of the ones that aren't the regular winners of getting read, like the Fresno Creepy Silk Stockings tonight that won. So it has been fun misbehaving. It's been really cute. So we have the hi candy shop. Aw, thanks, Justin. We have the spooky seals. Hi, Chris. Thanks, Mary. Me too. It's been fun. It's just hard to come up with them, but it's been fun. We have the spooky seals. Is Michelle in here tonight? Where's Michelle? Michelle, where are you? She's going to love this one and she's not here. Okay. We have the spooky seals. We have the poopy paws. That's the one Michelle would love. We have the creeper camping. We have the soul screamer. And we have the cantaloupe craniums. Yeah, poopy paws. You can vote in the top left-hand corner. There's a blue box, and you can vote up to 50 times, and you can vote for more than one story. We have spooky seals, poopy paws, creepy camping, the soul screamer, and the cantaloupe craniums. Oh, who's it gonna be, you guys? Justin, don't you mean I just crushed your cantaloupe cranium? Jade, I don't think Curtis is ever going to bounce back from this rejection. Unpopular opinion, I hope you're able to sleep. And if you aren't able to sleep on the live with the chit chat, I do have a bedtime stories playlist on YT that literally helps all of us pass out. Like myself included. I'm not even kidding. It's the frequency of my voice or something. And the bedtime stories playlist, nobody hardly makes it past the second story. So if you aren't able to fall asleep with the chit chat, I promise we have had tons of insomniacs here that can vouch that this works. I promise. So we're here for you, and I'm sorry that you have not slept in so long. That sucks ass. I am an insomniac too, and I know when you get to that point where you have not slept and you just want to cry. So I'm really sorry you're going through that. And if you just go to YT or the tube of you, I'm not allowed to say it out loud, but the links are also in my bio. But if you just look for Porch Lore on YT, the tube of you, the red app with the videos, if you look for Porch Lore and you find my channel, then at the home page, when you're on the home screen, there is a little tab called playlists. Like you scroll over, it's like videos, blah, 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 lives. If you find the playlist one, there's a playlist called Bedtime Stories. If you open that, you can hit shuffle or play all, and it'll play all night long. All of these stories recorded by me. And yeah, and it actually works, I promise. If any of you guys can vouch in here. Yeah, right. Beefy, that is funny. Soul Screamer was Huggin' Molly. I'm trying to pin what she said right now. 400K! Weird. There we go. Jess said it 100% works. And I think a lot of the others can vouch in here. There we go. Beefy does too, yeah. So, unpopular opinion, you came to the right place. And thanks for the follow, unpopular opinion. I hope we are able to help you. The chit chat and the live, I kind of read the stories live that people fall asleep to over there because they like to hear them live. But if you are desperately seeking sleep, there is a lot of giggling and talking in this live. So I would highly recommend the playlist on YT because that's going to help you not even like concentrate on the talking that I'm doing and just pass out. And so I hope you feel, and plus once you get used to my stories, it becomes white noise, and that's the goal of reading these over and over again all the time, is a lot of them are used to the stories now, and they can fall asleep to them because they aren't listening to see how they end anymore. So I really hope this helps you. Aw, thanks, Redneck. Hi, Skrilla. How are you tonight? Yes, I hope it works for you, unpopular opinion. I'm so sorry that you're struggling with sleep. I've been there, and I have been on the verge of tears before from lack of sleep. So we are all the porch pals are rooting for you, and I hope that you get to wake up in like 8 hours and be like, oh shit, it worked. I love that, Cats and Coffee. I think a lot of us do that. I think a lot of us after the live go back over there and pass out. All right, guys, so the winner was Poopy Paws. Oh, Mace. Yeah, there's nothing worse than a lack of sleep. It's literally like exhausting, and it makes you just want to cry. All right, guys, the winner is Poopy Paws. Because, Mace, it's become like your relaxation routine, and your brain knows it can relax. So now anything else is probably a little too overstimulating for you to fall asleep. That's what happens when you regulate your nervous system. Then it wants to stay regulated, and it seeks out the ways to stay regulated. It's kind of like meditation. I'm secretly getting you guys all to meditate. Low-key trying. All right, guys, I'll be right back. Skrilla, you're cute. I'll be right back with Poopy Paws, also known as the Sasquatch Dogger. Unpopular opinion, thank you so much for your first gift ever. You're awesomes. 85, thank you so much. That's an honor. I really appreciate it. Gardening Vixen, thank you. That's so kind of you to say. Thank you for the hand hearts, Glinda. I've missed you. How's my Glinda? How's my cutie Glinda? And yes, lovely. Technically, that's exactly correct. We are reprogramming our brains. When we show up here every night, it is self-care, because slowly, just like she said, we will be reprogramming it to where our nervous systems know they can expect to be able to unwind at night. You give yourself this time, and your nervous system can count on that, and then it'll start regulating because it knows that you will let it recharge every night. You can guess you are Jade. All right, guys, be right back. Welcome to the porch. Grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and check out the shooting stars. Feel free to invite your friends because there's always room for one more on the porch. Be right back. Exactly, Sherry. Giving ourselves permission to relax and chill, which we rarely do. That's why when people come in like, read the stories, I'm like, you're in the wrong place, boo-boo, unless you want to actually learn how to fix that and stop being so swipe, high strung. You really need to relax. Take that nervous system down, not stop doom scrolling, and just find some peace so your nervous system can trust you again. And then you won't be rage honking at people or crying at the drop of a pin. Trust me, I've been there. Well, that's the thing too, Matt, is when you're trying to stay alert, I've noticed that the porch lore won't actually make you pass out. It's only when that's why it's like meditation. If you actually allow yourself to, you will fall asleep. But if you need to stay awake, like I have friends who listen to it on road trips, and I have friends who listen to it at work, and they don't fall asleep. You know what I mean? So I think you have to tell your brain, like, hey, I'm using this to fall asleep, to unwind. Because like Paulo used my playlist for the month that she packed to move, and packing, and Lemons always cleans to my playlist. And like packing is one of the worst. Like if I could need to fall asleep and not pack, I would. So if you're listening and not falling asleep while packing, it's obviously like, you know what I mean? There's something where your brain has to, just like meditation, you can't get to that state unless you allow your brain to. You have to be open to falling asleep. So if you're listening to it while you're driving a car, like I have truckers that say they love listening to my stories, and obviously they're not falling asleep. But yes, Waffle Cone, and I wish you a speedy recovery. And there's Mr. Poopy Paws. Hi, Scarlett. Yeah, Phoenix. Which one did you think it was? Aw, thank you for the star map of Polaris Misbehavin'. I love that one. It is mud, Chris. It is mud. But it's a porch pal joke. You gotta be here more. It's a porch pal joke. I don't even know how it got brought up, but somebody was talking about poop on paws of their dog or something, and then this story was like the next story, and everybody was hysterically laughing, and then we were all saying it's poop, Sasquatch paw prints, and it turned into this whole. So now every time this one gets voted for, people are like, poop prints, get some toilet paper, wipe off the poop, his paws. Yeah. And so that's why I named it Poopy Paws, because I'm trying to like name the story stuff that are like kind of the inside jokes too, so people will at least kind of know which stories they are. Yeah. So like if I named one Ballsack Tent, you guys would absolutely know which story it is, right? So it's the same thing. It's Poopy Paws. And that's why I was like, is Michelle here? Because Michelle's the one that started it. Michelle's the one. It got you, Rachie? Yeah, Michelle's the one. That was such a funny night. Oh my God. Jade's foot, yeah. Yeah, exactly, Chris. It's the same exact type thing. It's just another one of the jokes that's developed through And Lovely had pointed out that she loves how we've gotten inside jokes now for like almost every story. So I did think it would be a fun way to revamp some of the titles that haven't gotten voted for a lot by reminding people of the inside jokes about them. So I'll be right. Yeah, me too. I love it, Lovely. When you pointed that out, I was like, you're right. It's so cute. She's right. It's so cute. And I love you guys. I love the Porch Pals so much. Like, you guys are just so my vibe that like I genuinely love hanging out with you guys. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't have asked for a better group of people to spend my evenings with. You guys make me laugh and feel good, and you guys are considerate and just everything. So thanks for being you guys, and thanks for us having so many funny inside jokes with these stories. It's really brings them to life, and it gets a different layer of, where we become attached to these stories because of not just the stories themselves, but the funny memories we have with them. So it's really special, and I just want to point it out. I know I'm being sappy, but it's very special, you guys, for us all to be grown adults and have inside jokes that make us feel like we're teenagers again. I mean, that's cute and it's special, and it's we need that whimsy. We need that whimsy. So I thought spooky or silly story title Saturdays would be fun for all of us. So be right back. Mary said, "Aw, you're our listening style." And thank you, Phoenix. You're so sweet. Oh, you do, Paul? You tell all your truck driver friends? Thank you so much. That's so sweet. I love truck drivers. You guys are like the unsung heroes. You guys bring us everything we need. Hi, Robin. You know what, Scarlett? I actually considered it too. I am obsessed with driving cross country, and it doesn't bother me at all. So I was like, that wouldn't be a bad job for me. Robin, thanks for the bouquet. I love that one. I love how it takes up the whole screen and it comes together. It's so cool. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the Sasquatch Stalker. Oh, thank you, Jess. You know those moments in life when something happens that you can never fully explain? Something that lingers in the back of your mind, no matter how much time passes. This was one of those moments for me. And it started with a road trip. Not the kind you plan for months. Just the spontaneous middle of the night decision fueled by restlessness and an old habit of chasing solitude in unfamiliar places. My plan was simple. Head down south away from the city. Find a secluded Airbnb where I could clear my head for a few days. I've always been drawn to the quiet of the wilderness, the way it made the world feel smaller. As if I could press pause on everything for just a little while. I drove my usual route, and I hopped on I-77 South and I just drove. By the time I hit the Blue Ridge Mountains, I was getting a little tired, and I decided it was time to take a break and book a nearby Airbnb. This is a beautiful area to get some rest and relaxation. I found a cute little cabin about 2 hours away, booked it, and then I was back on the road, headed deeper into the mountains now. The drive stretched into the late hours. It took longer than I had thought it would, and I barely noticed as civilization thinned out behind me. The further I went, the more the road narrowed, twisting through dense trees that loomed taller with every mile. My GPS lost service half an hour before I arrived. But I wasn't worried. The directions were straightforward enough. Just a few turns after passing an old general store that looked like it had been abandoned decades ago. The air was thick with fog when I finally pulled up to the cabin, its wooden frame barely visible through the haze. There was something unsettling about the silence there. Thank you, Tam. An unnatural stillness that made me hesitate before even stepping out of the car. The cabin was small, but it was well kept, tucked away at the edge of an isolated lake that stretched into darkness. The air was chilly and the trees swayed gently, though I couldn't hear the wind. It was a kind of quiet that was almost unnerving, as if someone or something was watching me just out of sight. But I brushed off the feeling. It was probably just the isolation. There were 0 streetlights, not even a dim glow from a surrounding property. I was completely isolated and it was pitch black outside. And the way my headlights cast strange shadows against the trees, I was probably just creeping myself out. Inside the cabin was cozy enough. Rustic furniture, a fireplace, a cute old record player in the corner. There was no Wi-Fi and no cell service, just a landline on the wall that I never planned on using. I lit a fire, unpacked a few things, and I sat on the couch with a blanket wrapped around me. The quiet should have been comforting. But you know the kind of quiet that isn't relaxing? The kind that gives you a foreboding feeling like something bad is about to happen. That's what it felt like. Then, about 15 minutes later, I heard a loud scream outside in the forest. It wasn't even really a scream. It was more like a high-pitched yowl. You know the sound that Sasquatch supposedly makes? Yeah, it sounded like that. I walked over to the window facing the woods and I peeked out the side of the drapes. But it was just too dark. I couldn't see anything. Neither porch light worked, and there were no driveway lights, no street lights. There wasn't even a dim glow of a neighboring town's light pollution to illuminate the backyard. It was just pitch black. So I locked the doors, checked the windows, and I forced myself back under the blanket. I barely slept, listening to every creak, every whisper of movement outside. I don't know what woke me, but when my eyes opened, the fire had burned low, and the dim glow cast just enough light to see the outlines of the room. There was a sound outside, faint but distinct. Something moving through the trees. Not the wind, not an animal. Footsteps. My stomach tightened as I sat up, straining to hear. The footsteps were slow and deliberate, and they were circling the cabin. The footsteps stopped right outside the window closest to the fireplace. And then I heard the window pane jiggle. Oh my God. Someone was trying to open the window. What do I do? I stayed perfectly still and I didn't move a muscle. And then I heard the footsteps start again. And they were heading towards the back of the cabin. And then I heard the back door handle jiggle. Thank God I checked all the locks before laying down. I froze, barely breathing, my pulse hammering in my ears. I don't know how long I sat there waiting, but it felt like an eternity. And then I heard the footsteps walk away. And then I heard branches snapping as if someone had walked into the woods behind the house. I laid there in silence, scared to move, just thinking about what I should do next. At some point, exhaustion won. Hi, Christina! And I drifted off to sleep. Guys, it's my best friend since high school's birthday. We've been friends since we were 15. Happy birthday, Yanni. I love you. Happy birthday, baby. It's your birthday. I love you. Everybody wish one of my lifelong besties, Christina, happy birthday. We have been friends since we were 15. Yep, because we love to talk. Always have, always will, bitch. I love you, Yanni. Happy birthday. She got an opera ghost song in a voice note, by the way. She sure did. All right, back to the story. Happy birthday, Yanni. I love you. At some point, exhaustion won and I drifted off to sleep. Morning came, and with it, a fragile sense of relief. The daylight made the night feel distant, almost unreal. I stepped outside, taking in the fresh mountain air and wrapping my coat tight around me. The ground was undisturbed, no footprints, no sign that anyone had been out there last night. I told myself it was probably just the trees shifting in the cold and the sounds of the wildlife moving through the night. But I just couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone out there. Yeah, I do, Howie. I get so excited when my best friends come in. You can always tell when it's one of my real life friends because I literally get so excited. My voice changes. I turn into a teenage girl. But that unease never left me. Every so often I felt it, that prickling sensation on the back of my neck. The certainty that I was being watched. I kept looking over my shoulder, scanning the trees, but nothing, just silence. That night I locked every door, double-checked the windows, and kept the fire burning high. I sat in the armchair, my fingers gripping the blanket tight. Maybe it was just paranoia. Just my mind turning the isolation into something sinister. But then, just past midnight, I heard it again. The slow, deliberate footsteps circling, closer this time. And then I heard wooden boards creak outside, under the weight of something heavy stepping up onto the front porch. I wish there was a birthday cake gift, Christina. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. And then I heard a long scraping drag against the wooden door. They should really have a birthday birthday cake gift. Every muscle in my body screamed to run, but I stayed still. My heart pounding so hard I thought it might burst. The scraping continued, deliberate and slow, and then it stopped. And then it was just pure silence, which was somehow even worse. The silence stretched for so long that I thought whatever it was had left, and that it was over. Hi, Jackson. And then the doorknob to the front door twisted, and the knob rattled again, harder this time. The door held. Thank goodness. Whatever was on the other side let out a low guttural sound. And then as suddenly as it started, it stopped. And again, that silence. I sat there shaking until the fire burned down to embers. Until the first light of dawn crept through the windows. Only then did I dare to move. When I finally opened the door, my breath caught in my throat, and there, on the porch, were muddy footprints. But they weren't like any I'd ever seen. Good night, Mary. They were too long and too wide, almost human, but definitely not human. I didn't stay to find out what made them. I didn't even repack my stuff in a suitcase. Thanks, Rachie. I just grabbed my stuff in armfuls and I threw my things in a giant pile in the back of my car. And I drove off without stopping. Sherry I was. My heart racing the entire way home. And I never found that cabin again. When I went back to find it, the listing had been removed, and all the emails I tried to send the host have all bounced back. The directions I had saved to my phone led me to an empty lot like it never existed. But I know what I saw, and I know that something was out there. Something that didn't want me there. Jade, you meant the cake slice gift, didn't you? Everybody's just putting the cake emoji. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Jade, for the cake slices. Christina, look at the little cake slices they're sending you. Look, Yanni. Wait, Rachie, you've seen a squirrel squatch? Now that's something I'm interested in. I want to eat all the cake too, Christina. Yum, yum, yum. I love cake. Cake is so good. That's okay, Phoenix. Cake and champagne, you're so cute. Cake and ice cream, yeah. Oh, that's okay, Scarlett. Carrot chomp. Oh yeah, corn chomp, you mean? Chomp, 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 chomp. Deb, toss my ex out the window. How do I do that? You mean with wind? You want me to send a storm over there? Want me to send a Derico over there? Blow his ass out the window. Cake chomps. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Cake eating's different. Cake's like no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I love cake. I turned into a cake monster, Christina. I was like, no. Yes, Christina, I swallowed the slice whole. And by the way, guys, when I'm saying Yanni, that is Christina. That's just my nickname for her since we were kids. Yanni. I love you, Yanni. Also, guess what? Fun fact about Yanni. In high school, I decided to try to be a little entrepreneur because that's literally how I've always been. And I decided to join and sell Cutco cutlery. I don't know if you guys even remember that. I also don't know how they employed teenagers with $15,000 worth of cutlery test equipment to display equipment to show to people. But I sure did sign a thing that said if I lost those damn knives, I would pay back the $15,000 because I was 16 and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So... or 17, right? So I had this like $15,000 worth of cutlery kit in the trunk of my Cavalier, the knives are probably worth more than my car. And I would leave that shit in the trunk everywhere I went so no one would take it. I was like, I wouldn't take it anywhere. I was so obsessed with making sure I didn't lose it. Yeah, Cutco. And get this. I went around and I showed so many people those damn knives. I actually am an expert now in cutlery. I know about the full tang, half tang. I actually learned a lot about knives from that job, but I went around and I sold 0 knives, okay? 0. And they were nice ass cutlery, okay? But then get this. Only one person bought anything from me. I sold 1 item the whole time I had the job, and guess who it was? It was Yanni's dad. It was Christina's dad. Because we had a way to demonstrate that the scissors were so amazing by curling a penny with them. We could use them to swirl a penny into a little spiral. And so I spiraled a penny for her dad. And he bought a pair of the scissors. And that was the first thing I ever sold. And I felt like I was like, oh my God. It was like, and then I never sold another thing from that and then I quit my job and I had to give them back the knives. But that damn pair of knives, that damn pair of scissors, Carlos bought them. And then I reminded it of him way later and he didn't even remember that he bought them from me. But Christina, we did get, before Porch Pals was even a thing, you guys, I was in Tennessee and I told Christina all about it. And I was like, trust me, it's going to be a thing. It's called the Porch Pals and they're going to call themselves the Porch Pals. And I'm like, hey, Porch Pals, I'm Deb, right? And I was like, I promise. So like we did like her dad, myself and Christina did these like porch swing fake videos. I got to find them in my phone. And we were like, hey, porch pals. And she was like, made her dad do it. She's like, Dad, say hi, porch pals. And then say, I'm a porch pal. Remember? And Carlos was like, I'm a porch pal. And then Christina was like, I'm a porch pal. And I still have those videos on my other phone. Yeah, the porch swing videos, Christina. Her dad did it with us because we were manifesting that was actually going to be a thing. And guess what, you guys? That was last May. And look at us now. It is a thing. Can you guys believe it? Yeah. Her and Christina, me and Dad were in a clubhouse at like 2 a.m. in Tennessee. And he had no idea what he was saying, but he did it. He was like, I'm a porch pal. So yeah, love you, Yanni, and I love you, Christina. And I'm so grateful for your lifelong friendship. Happy birthday. You're the best. Oh my God, Christina, cool story. Okay, best part of that trip was it was for Christina's engagement party, right? It was an engagement party. And I was the DD. And because I'm not a big drinker. So I was the DD for the weekend. And her lovely, amazing fiance, Sam, who I love, was getting a little sick of us because he wanted to go home, and I had basically was like, okay, and I promised Christina that no matter what, I'd take her to cookout. So I just like started, and he's like, this is not the way to our house. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Huh? What? And then I just drove it. We were cackling like hens. I drive us to cookout, which is my favorite shit, and it's hers too. We were literally, I thought I was being so sneaky. He's like, wait, are we going to fucking cookout again? I was like, no, because I'd eaten there like 3 times that day, I swear to God. So we're driving to cookout, whatever, we get back. And so he's trying to tell, it's like 4 a.m. or something, 3:30 in the morning when we get back to their complex. And he's like, and we could not stop laughing hysterically. And I'm not even drunk. I'm a silly gal. So we're laughing our asses off. And he's like, you guys have to be quiet. What did he say even? He was like, you guys, so like you have to understand that, like, and he's giving this speech about why we need to be quiet or something. And Christina looks at him dead serious and goes, cool story, bro. And then it made it 1,000 times worse because then we were just cackling, and he was so annoyed with us. He just walked away. He was like, you know what? And we were like, cool story, bro. Cool story, bro. And we were saying it forever. And then guess what? What he said was going to happen, because we weren't even listening to him because we were too busy laughing and getting ready to make fun of him for it, that he was trying to warn us that we were going to wake up her dog and then wake up and we did. That's exactly what happened. It was exactly what he was trying to warn us about. Our cackling was so loud. We woke up Pepper, and Pepper could hear their mommy was home, and she was freaking out and like howling. Woke up like all the neighbors. Yeah, we got even louder. We're like, cool story, bro. Whoa, ooh, ooh, ooh. And we were like being so obnoxious. And he just like walked away. And then we sure as shit did wake up the dog, just like he was just trying to help. But we were like, cool story, bro. Shut up. Like, go away. Bye. So we love you, Sam. You're the best. Yeah. And then Christina said, and Spearfinger was waiting in the bushes for us the whole time. Because yes, Christina is the one in the Spearfinger story with me. Because she does, in fact, live in Tennessee in the mountains of Appalachia. So anyway, happy birthday. I love you. I love you so much, Yanni. Yeah, Spearfinger was waiting in her bushes. All right, guys, you know what time it is? It's grilled cheese time. It's grilled cheese time. Are you in Crossville, Tennessee? Yanni, do you know where that is? All right, guys, sit back and relax. I'll be right back with the tale of the night shift at Sycamore Diner. Oh, there's a Buc-ee's there. Well, shit. That's all you had to say to me. Give me some brisket. By the way, Yanni, my story tomorrow. Guess what it's about? My story tomorrow is about Haint Blue. If you know, you know. Oh, Jade, don't even get me started on Buc-ee's. I'll send you a voice note later about what Buc-ee's is. It's the most iconic southern gas station chain with the cleanest bathrooms in the nation. And a full array of delicious homemade fresh food at any time you need brisket, fried pickles, all the fixins. Thanks, Zach. Hella Fat Chance, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the porch. Happy Saturday, everybody. Yeah, it really is, Matt. Buc-ee's for the first time is like, I don't feel like people understand until they go in and they're like, what the is this? Holy oh my. And you're like, I'm just gonna make a quick stop. And then you look at your watch and you've been there for 3 hours and you're like, what the hell? And you've also just had like such a joyous experience and all of your senses are like vibrating. Justin said, not to be confused with Hella Skinny Chance. Oh, they did, Diana? I don't even have one near me. I don't even have one close. But I love Buc-ee's. But I live in the north. They don't come this far. Neither does Cookout. Someday. The closest Cookout's in Kentucky. So, maybe someday. Or maybe I'll just get the hell out of Ohio. Either one. Matt, I could literally live off Cookout. But I don't know how, like, I went to Georgia once. And they had it labeled, like, North Carolina style. Or then, like, if you order not North Carolina style, it's got sauce on it. Like, northern-ass barbecue sauce on it. I was like, what? In Georgia? I was disgusted. I was like, it's because they literally franchised it. And I was appalled. I was like, you make that barbecue right now. There is no North Carolina style. This is the way it's made. Like, what is your problem? You saw Cheerwine beer? No, Christina. Are you going to try it? Are you going to try it? So I don't know if it's like that in Tennessee, but I doubt it. I know. But in Georgia, I was pissed. Because I hadn't had Cookout in like a while. And I went there to work on a movie. And I was so stoked that I was going to get it. And I just ordered it like I always do. Went through the drive-thru, got it. And it was covered in barbecue sauce. Are you going to have it tomorrow? Yes, Donnie, yes. And I was like, Cheerwine is, Jade Cheerwine is the first cherry soda ever invented in the history of the country. And it was made in North Carolina. And it's the first cherry soda that was ever made. And it's called Cheerwine. It's not wine at all. It's a cherry drink, but it's good. But yeah, if you guys go to Georgia and get Cookout, dear God, get it Carolina style. Please don't just like, They will cover it in some sauce that's like Ohio. It's so good. North Carolina style is vinegar-based, dry, with a slap of coleslaw and some Texas Pete on top. Also, fun fact, Texas Pete is also made where I grew up. It is not, in fact, from Texas. It is made in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. How you like them apples? Nothing to do with Texas. They just named it that for marketing. Because North Carolina Pete didn't sound as cool for hot sauce. Yep, Rachie, I feel the same way. I've lived here on and off throughout my entire life, and I have never liked it. I just don't like, I'm just too Southern. I don't vibe here. Just don't. Ooh, user dumplings sound good. It's just like a very different mentality. And I found that a lot of people here are, I know, me too, Yanni. Now I want cookout. Oh my God. Also one time, Yanni, remember when, God, why am I blanking on the doggy's name? Remember when Holiday ate my entire cookout platter off the table and then puked everywhere? It was the first one I had had in like fucking 10 years. And my friend's dog stole it off the table. I was so sad. I went back. I had to turn around and go back. You're into what for the combo? Northwest? Yeah, I think so. It's another language for sure. It's the North Carolina language. I almost did the donkey laugh. I know Eilish, they're really cute. The Scottish players are really cute. I don't do a donkey laugh. Mine is like a chipmunk laugh. Mace, yes. I used to have a sticker on my car that said Carolina Girls, best in the world. And it was in like, the letters were Carolina blue. You're correct. You're correct. You love donkeys. You should hear a story that a porch pal shared with us. I know, Jade. I know. I was one of those. It was a real thing. I'm not usually the kind of person who pulls over on back roads at night. Not unless I absolutely have to. But that night, something about the storm, the long drive, and that growling pit in my stomach convinced me otherwise. I was hungry. It was late October, and I was headed back to campus after a weekend visit with my friends in North Carolina. I had a midterm on Monday, and my plan had been to drive straight through, 5 hours, no stops. But then came the rain. One of those cold, slanted, whispery rains that creeps into your bones and makes the windshield wipers sound like a heartbeat. I had taken the wrong exit trying to bypass traffic, and I ended up on a 2-lane back road, surrounded by nothing but pine trees and power lines. And that's when I saw the neon sign. SYCAMRE Diner. The O in sycamore was flickering like it hadn't worked in years, but the rest was lit up in a cherry red neon. A tiny beacon in the middle of nowhere. I figured I'd grab a quick bite, maybe some coffee, check my map, and get back on the highway. But I should have just kept driving. I should have known something was off the second I stepped inside. The bell over the door jingled, but not like a normal bell. It made this sharp metallic ping that echoed longer than it should have. The air inside was warm, almost too warm. And it smelled like grilled onions and pancake syrup. The place looked like it had been yanked straight from 1957. Checkerboard floor, red vinyl booths, a long counter with spinning stools, even a jukebox in the corner that looked like it hadn't worked in decades. And the people? They all stopped and looked at me the second I walked in. Not in a rude way, just quiet. Like they weren't expecting me. Like I'd walked into the middle of a sentence that no one wanted to finish. A waitress, tall with a beehive hairdo and a light blue uniform, smiled and waved me over. "You get caught in the rain, sweetheart," she said, handing me a laminated menu. I nodded, still trying to shake off that weird feeling. Yeah, the highway's a mess. She chuckled and patted my shoulder. "Well, you're safe here. Sycamore's always open for travelers." "Thanks, Robin." "Thanks, Glinda." "Thanks, Tam." I sat down at a corner booth, and the vinyl creaked. I remember the jukebox shifted songs by itself and started playing some slow doo-wop ballad that I didn't recognize. I looked around and everyone looked normal, sort of. There was a trucker with a thick gray beard drinking coffee at the counter. A young couple whispering to each other in a booth by the jukebox. And an older woman stirring tea like she was lost in thought. But they all had the same look in their eyes, like they were there but also somewhere else. Like they were watching me out of the corner of their eyes even when they were looking down. The waitress came back with coffee. Strong, hot, and surprisingly good. And I ordered a grilled cheese with fries. Simple, safe. She wrote it down with one of those clicky pens and said, "Don't worry, it's on the house tonight." And that was my second red flag. No diner just gives food away. While I waited, I took out my phone to check the map. No signal, and I mean nothing. No bars, no Wi-Fi, not even GPS. Just a blank screen with a spinning wheel. "Good night, Yanni, I love you. Sweet dreams." I glanced out the foggy window, and the storm was still going. But now the wind had picked up. I could see the power lines swaying like jump ropes in the dark. But the diner stayed perfectly lit. Not even a flicker. The food came fast, too fast, like under 5 minutes. But it looked amazing. Golden bread, gooey cheese, crispy fries with a little metal cup of ketchup on the side. I took a bite. Delicious. I mean, I've eaten at a lot of diners, greasy spoons, college joints, and roadside shacks, but this was hands down the best grilled cheese I've ever had. The fries were perfect, and the coffee never ran out. Every time I took a sip, it was somehow full again. I was halfway through the sandwich when the trucker got up to leave. He walked right past my table, nodded once, and whispered, "Don't stay past midnight." That's all he said. What? But he was already out the door. The waitress gave me a tight smile and walked over, collecting his empty mug. Old Earl, he's always saying weird stuff. Just ignore him. But I couldn't. Something about his voice stuck with me. Something about the way he looked at me. Not like I was a customer, but like I was in danger. I checked the clock over the register, and it was 11:42. I figured I had just enough time to finish my fries, grab the check, and head out. I still had at least 3 hours left on the road. But when I stood up, the lights flickered just once, and then again. And then everything in the diner stopped moving. The couple by the jukebox froze mid-sentence. The woman with the tea stopped stirring, her spoon hanging in midair. The waitress, her hand reached out for a mug, just stopped. Like someone hit pause on the entire scene. I took a step back, and the jukebox buzzed, glitched, and restarted a new track. I could still move, but no one else could. And then I heard it. Not music, not a storm. A voice. Not coming from anyone I could see. Just a whisper that seemed to echo from the walls themselves. I backed toward the door, my heart hammering in my chest. And I turned the knob. Locked. Of course it was locked. Thank you, Glenda. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Diana. I tried the windows, but they were sealed shut. Thanks, Rachie. I started banging on the glass and shouting, but no one was outside. Just wind and rain and that flickering red sign. SYCAMRE. I turned back toward the dining room and everyone was gone. Not frozen anymore, just gone. The booths were empty. No plates, no crumbs, no mugs. No sign that anyone had ever even been here. Except for my plate. Still warm and still half eaten. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Diana. Thanks, Stacy. And then I saw the waitress. She was standing by the kitchen doors, her silhouette backlit by flickering fluorescent light. Her face was wrong. The same smile, but her eyes were empty, black and endless, like someone had painted over them. "You shouldn't be here, honey," she said in that same cheerful voice. Not yet. I stumbled back, knocking over a chair. And she took one slow step toward me. The others, they were waiting, but you just wandered in. She raised a hand and the walls began to shimmer. Literally shimmer. Like heat waves on asphalt. The checkered floor rippled and the red booths started to fade, becoming outlines and then shadows and then nothing. And then I saw it, underneath the illusion. It was charred wood, cracked tile, broken beams, and black soot. Like the diner had burned down long ago. I ran. I don't even remember how I got out. 1 second I was inside and the next I was on the side of the road, soaked to the bone and gasping for air. My car was still there, parked on gravel that didn't even look like a lot anymore. Just weeds and puddles. No neon sign, no glowing windows, just nothing. I drove back to campus that night in silence. No music, no Porch Lore podcast. I kept glancing in the rearview mirror, half expecting to see that red neon flicker back to life. I didn't tell anyone, not for weeks. Thank you, Robin. Thank you so much. Not until I finally looked it up. Sycamore Diner on a local history site, and I found it. It burned to the ground in 1972. Gas leak. The whole place went up at midnight. Everyone inside was killed. 5 patrons, a waitress, and a cook. The photo in the article. The same checkerboard floor. Same red booths. Same neon sign. Phoenix. SYCAMORE. And in the corner of the photo, that same waitress, smiling. I never took that back road again. I don't even drive at night anymore if I can help it. And every time I see a neon diner sign, something in me flinches just a little. Because I know I was there. And I know I wasn't supposed to be. But the part that keeps me up sometimes, the part that really makes my stomach turn, that was the best damn grilled cheese I've ever had. And I didn't even pay for it. And that's the tale of the night shift at Sycamore Diner. Thank you for spending your Saturday evening with me, Porch Pals. I love you guys so much. Again, happy Father's Day to all of the human daddies as well as pet daddies to fish, dogs, cats, lizards, snakes, anything. Happy Father's Day. And I love you, Porch Pals. I'm so grateful for all of you. And if you are not able to fall asleep, feel free to head on over to my YT channel where you will find my bedtime stories playlist that will help you snooze. I hope you guys have a great Sunday tomorrow, and I will see you guys again tomorrow night. Same time, same place, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope you guys get some lovely sleep, and don't forget, stay spooky. Also, Matt, thank you for your generosity tonight. Stay spooky.